Hey YouTube, what is up? I've been making Yu-Gi-Oh videos for a while now, and I realized that I still haven't shown what my binder actually looks like. So I figured every once in a while, I'll do a video like this where I show you guys what my binder looks like. I'm obviously not going to do this every week, but every once in a while, it's cool to see, I guess, what's in my binder. Obviously, from seeing this binder, you're going to know what deck I'm building as soon as I open the first page. I'm trying to pick this stuff up as high a rarity as I possibly can. So I have my 3 ulti-rare MSTs. I have basically all the Dark Magician support in the highest rarity I could. Timaeus is in Italian. All the other cards Italian as well. So I'm trying to pick it up highest rarity, basically because Monarchs has been the cheapest deck I've ever built that's actually been relevant for this long. It's going to be pretty much relevant for like 6 to 8 months. So the fact that I spent $30 and pretty much had a deck for 6 to 8 months means I've had a lot of money to put to the side to eventually build Dark Magicians over time and pick this stuff up a little earlier than I would have normally, because this is probably going to go up in price eventually, even though this is getting reprinted. The fact that I could pick it up now and have the original version in first edition in a different language is something I couldn't pass by, basically. So that's my first page. Ooh, buddy, can't turn the page. There we go. Basically just more support for my Dark Magician deck. 2 Ebon Illusion Magician, no surprise there. Gonna run that at 2 in my deck. Draco Sack, Big Eye, just generic, level 7s that are gonna be running pretty well in that deck. I'm not gonna be running Meteor Black Dragon in my deck. I just like the card and I happen to have 2 of them. And I thought it was pretty, nice to put it above Dark Paladin and Flare Knight. So I felt, it had its place there. That's the best way to put it. 2 Dark Paladins, gonna be running those in my deck as well. No reason not to, especially just with Timaeus. So many useful plays with this deck. Buster support is just there for show, pretty much. I like having the Buster cards. I like their artwork, and Lightning Paladin as well. Just cards I like to have, although Buster's is probably going to become a little more relevant once Blue Eyes drops, because Buster is basically tailor-made to fight dragon decks, and that's what Blue Eyes is. Elemental Hero Prisma is going to be a staple in my deck just because of the plays you can do with it. With Eye of Timaeus, send Dark Magician to your graveyard, Eye of Timaeus, Prisma, and then it becomes any dragon you need, really. So that's really, really nice. I'm probably only going to run 2. I just happen to have 3. I didn't really think I had 3. I only thought I had 1, but I found all 3. So that's why they're there right now. Just more Buster Blader support and Blue Eyes and Cyber Dragon stuff. I just love the card art on Cyber Dragon, so I try and get as many varying versions of it as I can. I don't have the expensive ones yet. I might get them over time, though. Blue Eyes, just to have Blue Eyes. I don't know what happened to my starter deck Kaiba ones that I had back in the day. It's unfortunate that I lost it, but, easy come, easy go. It's like a $10 card at this point, I think. It's probably a little more expensive than that now that Blue Eyes is coming out, but it'll drop down eventually over time, and I'll just pick it up for nostalgia reasons. Dragon Master Knight, that's one of my favorite card arts of all time, and I'll probably never sell this. It's actually still wrapped in its original thing from the Battle Pack. I think that's what it's from. And it's not an expensive one. There's a more expensive version of this that's secret rare, but I haven't seen many of these that are actually still wrapped. So maybe the value is a little higher on that. Blue Eyes Ultimate, it would have a higher value. It is a jump promo, but me being the idiot kid I was, I put this in my deck without any wrappers, pretty much. Or I guess in my extra deck without any sleeves or anything on it, and it's a little damaged, but I'm keeping it for nostalgia purposes. That's the best way to put it. Secret Rare MSTs I actually like more than the ultis, to be honest with you. I like the rarity. I just like Secret Rares. Secret Rares looks really nice to me, and that's what I want to build my Dark Magician deck into, pretty much. I want to build Secret Rare Dark Magicians, which is why I actually need to pick up this card in Secret Rare. But, it's like a $25 card right now. But I want to pick it up Secret Rare. I think a Secret Rare deck just looks nicer, in my opinion. Ultis is nice, don't get me wrong. They're obviously more expensive, but you don't always have to like the most expensive stuff. I just like Secret Rare MSTs more than the Ultis. Lancelot, Pain Gainer, and 7 Sins. I'm not going to be running that in Dark Magicians, but if someone wants to pick up all 3, I just made it pretty easy for them. Summoner Monk, I need 1 more gold rare. I'm going to be running that in Dark Magicians as well, just because you could Summoner Monk into anything, bring out Daigusto Emerald, special summon Dark Magician from your graveyard, and just continue your plays from there, pretty much. So yeah, 2 Arcana Force the World, because I was building a Monarch, I guess, Arcana Force the World turbo deck, but because chicken games and stuff like that and upstarts got hit, the deck lost its consistency, so I just put these cards in the binder. Same reason I have Valhalla and Athena, pretty much. Actually, I just like Athena's artwork. I think I had that from before. And same reason I keep Mystical Elf. I just like the card. Ooh, I'm not going to be running it in my Yu-Gi deck, though. Something I am going to be running in my deck, though, is Red Eyes Flare Metal. No reason not to. It's a great rank 7. That's the one I actually packed in, I think, the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster box unboxing I ever did. I just happened to pull that, and that's the one card I wanted. I was pretty happy when I pulled that shit. These red eyes are actually mine from like back in the day. One is, they're both starter deck Joeys, but one's the first edition. I think it's this one. I probably picked that starter deck up when I was like 11. So that card's older than my brother, which is pretty crazy to think, actually. But yeah, just, more generic stuff. Lord of the Red. I'm not going to be running any of these cards in my deck. I just think that they look really nice pretty much. So I put them in the binder where they fit most, which was next to Summon Skull and Red Eyes, which is why I have Black Skull Dragon right there. I also have Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. I really like those cards too. I might trade them eventually, but I'm just keeping them for now. I really thought they were cool, and I just kind of like keeping this stuff together. All the Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey stuff. Relevant, just keep it together. Shonen Jump fucked me over back in the day, and they just never gave me my Slifer card in the mail, even though I subscribed during the time frame when they were giving it away. Just never got it. So I got to pick that up eventually to complete the set. But, I don't feel like dropping $50 right now. Obelisk of Tormentor, that's a jump promo. I just put it in there just as a space saver pretty much. Secret Village of the Spellcasters, actually going to be pretty useful for Dark Magicians in the future. Basically, it just protects your back row, protects you from Twin Twisters and MSTs, stuff like that. So you can actually have Eternal Soul up on the board once it does release in North America without any worries. So if it does, it wouldn't get popped and wouldn't wipe your field pretty much. Though, if you don't control any spellcasters, I don't think you can use spells either, which kind of sucks. But, pretty much you're going to be having only spellcasters, so there's no reason to worry. Here's my Dark Magician page and more Dark Magician support. I have 2 secret rare versions of the original card art Dark Magician. That's probably what I'm going to be running in my deck. I said I wanted to run secret rare magicians, and that's what I meant. I have the secret rare versions of the Dark Magician. I need one more to complete the set, or maybe I'll just throw in the alternate artwork one. This is a really nice card. I really love the artwork on this, and the Magi Girl that matches this, I wish they would make it come to America. Like, the art matches that Dark Magician so well. I can't believe that, they just want to censor the cards so badly that they won't bring it over. It's fucking cleavage. It's literally Dark Magician Girl's cleavage, which is preventing that card from coming over. And I respect the fact that the artist didn't want to change it, because it wasn't even that, bad of a card, to be honest with you. It's like you seeing a person wearing a bra, pretty much. So, I mean, hopefully we get Magi Girl, because it's, nice support for magicians, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime for now. So, for now, my deck is probably going to be 2 secret rare Dark Magicians, and just this Dark Magician right here. The 3 Dark Magic attacks, I'm probably only going to run 2 of them. One is mine from back in the day, and it's kind of damaged. 2 of them are mint. I'm going to probably run the 2 mint ones, because that makes more sense to me. I'm glad that Dark Magician of Chaos is actually back. I'm probably going to be running it in my deck, because it just makes sense. I actually have the ability to access it better than most, especially because of Dedication Through Light and Darkness, because you tribute a Dark Magician on your side of the field as tribute, so it's not bad. Obviously, people running it in their deck anyway, because it makes a nice, spell recycler and stuff like that. But I think it's going to run a little better in Magicians. I just got to pick up the secret rare versions of that, which are also going up in price now that the card's off the ban list, pretty much. Though it did get eroded. So there is, I guess, a trade-off with that. Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars is just because these 2 cards are draw power in Dark Magicians, and Thousand Knives as just general Magician support. Probably I'll run 2 and 1. That's my plan for that. More Magician stuff is just Sage of Stone and Summoner's Arts. These are basically just Rotas for my deck. That's how it would work. And that's pretty much it for all my Dark Magician, Joey's, and Kaiba stuff. This is just rank 3 stuff I had from back in the day. I had a Dante and I had a F-Zero, but I traded that towards the Italian, I guess, Dark Magician support stuff that I got. So those cards are no longer there. That's why these 2 are kind of out of place. But yeah, that's what I had there originally. This is just some of my Satellar Knight extra deck, because Satellar Knights was really good, and I love playing that deck. But it's just, it can't keep up with the pace anymore. So I took the extra deck cards that I was running into Satellar Knights out, and yeah. So this is basically what I'm stuck with now. So this is basically just where I put it for now. Daigusto Emerald, I'm going to run in Dark Magicians, because it just, it lets you bring out Dark Magician with Insta-Fusion and Norden. So, yeah, why not, pay 1,000 life points, just fill my graveyard a little bit, bring out Daigusto Emerald, bring out Dark Magician, make any plays I want, and then just keep going from there. Thousand Eyes Restrict, that's one from back in the day too. That card's a little damaged because I was a kid, and I didn't sleeve the cards. But, Insta-Fusion still targets it just fine. The card, even though it has a crease in it, still works perfectly fine. So I might run it in my Magicians as a one-of if I'm running Insta-Fusion for Norden, because I probably have extra deck room. So yeah, Thousand Eyes Restrict, just a nice classic card. And the fact that it is still pretty relevant today means it was pretty broken back in the day when it was at 3. But yeah. More Royal Decrees and just generic stuff at this point. Victory Dragon's effect is actually very similar to this, which is Legendary Magician of Dark. I love this card. My friend Mike gave it to me. It's not the actual prize card, but to me it's just as valuable. I have this thing like quadruple sleeved. It's kind of hard to see, but it's just one of my favorite cards. That's why I got it. So Mike, if you're watching this, thank you for letting me have this fucking card, man. I always love this card. I actually had the chance to pick up the Blue Eyes prize card, like the YCS prize card version of that, but I didn't want it, to be honest with you. I should have picked it up, I guess, thinking back, because now it's going to be worth more money because Blue Eyes support is going to be more relevant, but I'd rather just pick up the Dark Magician one because I love Dark Magicians so much. Cyberstein, also banned, but it's a $10 fucking rare at this point, which is pretty crazy still. Just more, this is basically just, you know, generic cards I have now. I don't know if people are going to be picking up Lord of D's, but it'd be funny to see someone actually run that in their dragon deck. Maybe run a Flute of Summoning Dragon while they're at it, throw in Gendora, you know, for some shits and giggles. Make a Yugi deck, make a straight Kaiba deck instead of just Blue Eyes or just Dark Magician. I think that'd be pretty funny to see. Throw in, you know, Karibo every once in a while. I think it would make it pretty fun. I feel like decks today are a little too turbo, and maybe returning to Dark Magicians and Blue Eyes is going to be a little slower, but I'm not so sure, because you could bring out like 3 Blue Eyes in one turn. That's 9,000 damage, which is pretty broken in my opinion. Now I'm just pretty much getting into where my extra deck stuff starts, though over time people have taken out the cards they wanted, and then I just filled it with random cards. Swallow's Nest, you know, rank up magic. I guess that's just generic, what is it? Raid Raptor support? Yeah, Raid Raptors still aren't a thing yet because we don't have Ulti Falcon, but when that comes out, it's going to be a pretty fun deck to play against. And by fun, I mean it's a complete bitch to fight. But yeah, it's you know, it's going to be a thing eventually. WXYZ, Dragon Catapult Cannon. I love that card so much because it was basically just Power Rangers before there were Power Rangers. I guess more like Zords, or I guess just the Zord aspect, or Zoids, if you remember Zoids back in the day. But that's pretty much what this was. Before we got Super Quantums as an archetype, this was the closest I could get to Power Rangers in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's why I still have the Ulti version of it, which was actually fairly expensive at one point, and now it's probably worth like $3. Speaking of cards that were worth money and are now pretty much useless, Excite Knight. A lot of people really want this card for some reason still, even though it didn't get released off the ban list, and it's still holding around $20, which is pretty crazy for a, you know, a banned card. But I guess I could see why people want it back. People are assuming that the way the format's going, how fast decks are getting, this might come back, as it might not be considered overpowered to just clear your opponent's board completely. I think it's pretty broken, but you know, I don't think it's coming back, but if it does, you know, cool. If Monster Reborn comes back, I'm covered. Got my #1 fucking Ultra Monster Reborn to play in my deck, so I'm pretty much set with that. Just pretty much generic spells, Majesty's Fiend, because I have a secret rare in my deck, so I just rarity swapped it. Not much else, to be honest with you, that's pretty relevant anymore. I mean, now I just have like generic traps and stuff, because usually what happens is whenever I go to the shop or something like that, people pick out what they want, and that's like, you know, a playset of cards is pretty much gone in an instant if it's actually meta relevant. So it's always a struggle to, I guess, balance out what you pick up and then what you want to trade in the future. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and you can follow me on Twitter @Schwabs, or like my Facebook page. The links to both of those are in the description below. Or if you really like this video, you can click subscribe because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.